Wow, that concert last night. 8. Juli, 10:09 Uhr. Warum ist sie nicht in der Schule? That concert last night sure went south in a hurry. No kidding. Why did they arrest Machi? Why? Oder vielleicht sind gerade Ferien. Das könnte natürlich sein. Don't look at me like it's my fault. Machi Tobaya, the blind pianist. Ja gut, warum haben sie ihn wo festgenommen? Er wurde jetzt mit der Leiche da oben gefunden. Es wirkt wahrscheinlich so, als hätte er sie dahin gebracht. Vielleicht ist das ja der, den wir dann verteidigen müssen. Aber wieso? Das wäre voll scheiße, wir können gar nicht mit dem reden. Arrested on suspicion of murdering Romain Letous. I can't believe such a cute little boy could do something so horrible. I guess they had proof of some kind? What proof could possibly prove that? Morning. Prosecutor Gavin. What a night, eh? I apologize for being so upset. Mr. Gavin, do you know what's going on? Why did they arrest Machi? Why? Don't look at him like it's his fault either. It was tough for me too. We performed together that night after all. Yet, the powers that be say that given the circumstances, it could only have been him. What do you mean by the circumstances? La Miroir was invited from Virginia as an ambassador of goodwill. It is vital that this case be wrapped up swiftly. That's all the powers that be want, really. Well, those are circumstances, all right. But what makes Machi the only possible suspect? Her forehead. You seem to have forgotten that you're talking to the prosecution, the enemy. Ah, ja, was heißt the enemy? Wir haben ja noch gar keinen... Es ist ja nicht so, als wäre er gerade unser Client. Right. I think I like the side of Prosecutor Gavin better, actually. I'm not at liberty to discuss the particulars of the case. Especially not to the defense attorney. What did you just say? Me? The defense attorney? That's what I came to tell you. Okay, gut, dann macht es Sinn, dass er das gerade gesagt hat. He is down at the detention center. He wants to request your services. He? You mean Machi? Machi wants me? This is what we've been waiting for, Apollo. Let's get going. Right. Good luck. I'm off to question La Miroir. Right, later. I hope I'm up to this. Ja, aber solange wir keinen Babelfisch haben, verstehen wir nicht, was der sagt. Es sei denn, der kann auch noch Englisch und hat es bisher nicht gesagt. Shibaraku omachi kudasai, genau. Well, I just don't get it. I refuse to believe a cute little kid like that could do something so terrible. You said that already. Machi, everything's going to be okay. We're here for you. Hi. Maybe you can tell me about last night? Huh? And that was when I realized how tough it must be. A little kid like this. In a country so far from everything he's ever known. Maybe La Miroir can help? But didn't Prosecutor Gavin say she was with him? Good luck. I'm off to question La Miroir. Well, what are we going to do? That's, a good question. Can't think of anything we can do but go with this. And hope for the best at the trial tomorrow. Na, wenn man sich jetzt mal in den reinversetzt, kann er einem ja schon ein bisschen leid tun. Bist du in irgendeinem Land, wo dich keine Sau versteht? Und sitzt auf einmal im Knast für irgendwas, was du nicht getan hast. Ich meine, ich gehe jetzt mal davon aus, dass er es nicht getan hat, weil wir ihn verteidigen und es ein Ace Attorney-Spiel ist. In dem es ja so gut wie nie vorkommt, dass der Typ, den man verteidigt, doch schuldig ist. Und du bist gerade mal 14 Jahre alt. Kann einem schon ein bisschen leid tun. Also müssen wir uns dafür sorgen, dass er nicht hier irgendwie auf den Stuhl kommt. Court is now in session 4. How do I even say that? Machi Tobaya, Your Honor, the Pixie of the Arpeggio. Dann kriegen wir jetzt noch 40 Minuten Trial. Right, his trial. Court is in session. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, Herr Judge.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My opening statement, yeah?
No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about.
Huh? Yes?
Say, you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down.
What are you talking about? Es ist scheiße, wenn du jemanden kennst, der in der Situation ist, lieber Richter, aber solltest du vielleicht nicht im Gerichtssaal Fragen zu stellen.
Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son. His son is afflicted with the most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day.
Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for?
In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly.
Aber das ist natürlich genau das, was du bei so einem Fall haben willst. Dass der Richter auch noch so schnell wie möglich das hinter sich bringen will.
Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement briefly.
You're in luck here, Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim in this case. Romain Letouze, age 35, the global manager for diva songstress La Miroir. The cause of death, blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details.
The court accepts this into evidence.
Okay, kann ich da mal reingucken?
45 caliber, that's quite large, isn't it?
Romain Letouze, age 35. Der war 5 Jahre jünger als ich, so sah er aber nicht aus. Time of death, July 7, between 9 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. Cause of death, blood loss due to 45 caliber bullet wound. Time elapsed between shooting and death currently under review.
A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. However, the bullets
struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved.
I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering.
Haben wir nicht vorhin gesagt, dass Apollo sich die Schulter ausrenken würde, wenn er mit dem Ding schießt? Wie soll dann ein 14-Jähriger mit dem Revolver zweimal geschossen haben und unversehrt sein?
I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering.
2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Wobei, sie meinte ja auch, ich glaube, sie meinte, dass das passieren würde, weil Apollo halt nicht im Umgang mit Schusswaffen trainiert ist. Ich weiß nicht, ob ein 14-Jähriger einen Revolver abschießen könnte, ohne sich irgendwie selber zu verletzen, wenn er weiß wie. Wahrscheinlich schon. Muss irgendjemand sagen, der sich damit auskennt. Both bullets were found in the wall of the scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the bullets hit.
I see. The court accepts this evidence. If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use.
Really? Yeah, apparently weapons that size of a powerful kick. Okay, so it's erwähnt. Kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every fucking bone in his body.
The defense will take more care in choosing
examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. Du hast mal mit einem, wo zur Hölle hast du denn mit einem Revolver geschossen? Oh, Magnum. Heilige Scheiße. Bremen? Dein Klassenkamerad dir eine gegeben? This dressing room has only one entrance. This door. Ach, du warst im Schützenverein. Ich glaube, das hast du mir nie gesagt. Wo ist denn jetzt dieses kleine Fenster? Du hattest sogar mal eine Waffenbesitzkarte, aber jetzt nicht mehr. Haben sie dir weggenommen, weil du zu viele Hentais geguckt hast? Hier haben wir den ja auch gesehen. Und die Löcher in der Wand waren hier. Das heißt doch eigentlich, dass von hier geschossen werden muss. Wobei andererseits, ich meine, man hätte natürlich auch von hier durch die Wand schießen können. Wobei, dann wären hier ja auch nochmal Löcher gewesen, oder nicht? Ich weiß nicht, für mich sah das so aus, als hätte jemand aus der Richtung nach da geschossen. Und da kommt ja irgendwie wieder das Fenster in Frage als möglicher Punkt, von dem aus geschossen wurde. Andererseits hieß es, das Fenster geht nicht großartig auf. Dann könnte man ja eigentlich nur schräg runterschießen, wenn man durch das Fenster schießt und nicht geradeaus bis da hinten in die Wand. Also, auch die sind ja doof. This dressing room has only one entrance, this door.
That does seem to be the case, yes.
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
Well, that's impossible.
Exactly. This murder was impossible. Okay, dann können wir ja alle nach Hause gehen. Hast auch mit einer Uzi geschossen? Meine Fresse. Auch noch mit einem Raketenwerfer vielleicht? Hast du auch noch mal im Panzer gesessen, so durch Bremen gefahren damit? Impossible for all but one person. Oh, scheiße, jetzt kommt es bestimmt irgendwie irgendwas mit dieser Schacht da oben war so klein, da hätte Dings reingepasst.
One person.
That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tobaye.
Only this defendant could have committed the crime.
Man nur die Sicherung auf Tape machen und die einfach in den Raum werfen kann. Ich glaube, das habe ich auch schon mal in Filmen gesehen. Genau sowas.
But how?
It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear.
Very well, I assume you have testimony to back up this claim.
Beim Bund haben wir auch mit dem dicken MG geschossen. Wo man viel besser sehen konnte mit dem ollen G3. Was ist denn ein G3-Gewehr? Da habe ich halt nie Erfahrung mit gehabt. Ich bin damals wegen der Neurodermitis und meiner schlechten Augen ausgemustert worden. Deswegen musste ich einfach gar nichts machen. Ist auch nicht so schlimm, aber ja.
Very well, I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Please show the witness to the stand.
Oh. Jetzt kommt Blameo. Oh ne, Emma. Der Vogel ein richtig kräftiger Typ, boxt dir in die Schulter. Ah, okay. Das ist dieses G3-Gewehr, wenn du damit feuerst, meinst du?
Your name and profession.
Your name and profession, please. Emma Sky, I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow.
Security at the concert, you say?
Some security I couldn't even stop a murder.
Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered. And we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. All right. Vielleicht hat er heute keine Zeit, sich Emma-Hentais anzugucken. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. Why?
It was lucky that a detective was the first of the scene.
That door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. Then I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? It looks like we need a bit more information.
Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination.
Oh nein, da oben ist hier das blöde Armband. Night of the murder was on security backstage and prosecutor Gavin's request. Sie hat jetzt zumindest nichts gesagt, wo ich irgendwie das Gefühl hatte, dass es eine Contradiction wäre. Also würde ich sagen, es ist erstmal Zeit zu pressen. The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes. That's right. What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin. Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, that whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own.
What is this, Prosecutor Gavin? If your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect.
Oh, tja. Allerdings. Love, slow acting, and you. What the fuck is that word? Atroquinine? Atroquinine? I have never, ever heard of this. Is waiting for you. What the fuck is Moment. Dictionary. Atroquinine. Okay, steht auch nicht im Wörterbuch. Atroquinin ist eine fiktionale synthetische Substanz, die in Apollo Justice vorgestellt wurde. Ah, okay. Dann lese ich da jetzt nichts weiter zu. Gibt's offenbar nicht wirklich. Is waiting for you. Ist ein schöner Kompromiss, Christian. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen, so I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. The most time on their hands heißt auch irgendwie, dass ihr niemand wirklich Arbeit gibt.
I see. I can accept that.
Well, I can't. What do you mean time on their hands?
Police the testimony.
Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fräulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Mr. Gavin, du bist 24, die ist 15, also solltest du vielleicht was anderes zu sagen. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there then. And then? Was ist mit diesem Magician-Typen, den wir gesehen haben? Hat den sonst niemand gesehen? At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos.
Oh, hey, no snacking in court.
And you're sure the shots came from La Miroir's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Thanks. So, how about it, Emma? We were right. There. Hard to be mistaken about that.
Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time.
Right. So after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I went to the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body.
Rock?
Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
That's right. When we went to the dressing room, music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They pipe sound from the stage to the backstage through speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. They didn't have to be so loud. You don't listen to the governors with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always have the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked into the room, warum hat sie jetzt ihre Brille auf? The band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing,
then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi. Jetzt fällt mir wieder ein, dass der eine Gitarrist sich, der zweite Gitarrist hat sich jetzt ein bisschen verspielt am Schluss. Was hat das denn jetzt wieder damit zu tun? Boah, ich erinnere mich echt an überhaupt nichts mehr und das ist bisher alles ganz schön verwirrend. Aber irgendwie finde ich das bisher auch interessant, weil ich mich frage, wie diese ganzen total seltsamen Sachen zusammenpassen werden. Including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. I examined the scene and determined the defendant could have... Okay, da bin ich jetzt mal gespannt, warum. Wegen dem Lüftungsschacht? How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent.
Objection!
But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Oh. Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. The child? Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
The defendant?
The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up toward the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
Objection!
But that's just conjecture. Oh? There was no other way out of that room. You were there. You should know, Herr Forehead. And there is another vital piece of evidence. Evidence 1. Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened. Wait, what? And something else was found quite clearly. The defendant Machitobaya's fingerprints. What? What? Sieht irgendwie aus, als wären wir royal im Arsch gerade.
Order, order, order!
That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Herr Forehead. Haben wir das Diagramm hier nochmal? Ups. Tja. Ich tippe ja immer noch auf das Fenster, aber wenn sich das gar nicht weit genug öffnen lässt. Aber vielleicht müssen wir noch erfahren, wie weit genau es sich öffnen lässt. Weil wenn jemand durchs Fenster geschossen hat, dann muss die Person ja nicht im Raum gewesen sein. What fairy tale does this suggest to you? Oh, only one could pass through that vent. That doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it out in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence.
Quite decisive indeed. Well, I have an appointment, so I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict.
Scheiße.
Even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. It can't be over already.
Very well, I believe this trial is finished.
Ja, scheiße, Episode 3 war wohl nicht so lang.
If the defense has no contradicting evidence,
the prosecution has presented our proof, clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain, too. Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already. We better come up with something quick. I know. Think, what can get us out of this? Vielleicht der Revolver? Oder das Ding? Weil warum war das da? We need evidence or a witness that can prove Machi's innocent beyond a doubt. Without that...
Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case?
Nee, oder?
If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. Also mein Vorschlag wäre Call a Witness und Lameroy aufrufen. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I'd swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song At Quinine, My Love. Oder Nien? There he goes again. That's too bad because there was a witness.
Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I am the only one in the world who knows this. What's going on? Just talk to him right now.
See.
Can episode tell me who was the witness?
The witness is
The siren, yep. Hatten wir ja schon.
What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. Das war Selbstmord, wie soll er sich denn... Das müsste man doch erkennen an dem... vielleicht doch nicht. What do you mean by that? All we know is what Herr Forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself. Objection! But it's the truth. He said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called... Oh man, wir haben doch gerade erst angefangen. Is called for... there's no backing out now.
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
Vielleicht können wir sagen... wenn die fragen, was für einen Beweis wir dafür haben, dass sie möglicherweise ein Zeuge sein könnte, könnten wir vielleicht diese Brosche vorbringen, weil die ja am Tatort gefunden wurde.
Le Miroir?
Recall Mr. Latouse's last words.
The witness is siren. The siren? You meant the siren.
That's right, the siren of the ballad, Le Miroir. Le Miroir was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emaskai's cross-examination. Please show Le Miroir to the witness stand.
Le Miroir would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her, no matter what it is. Dann hoffe ich mal, dass sie nicht sagt, jo, ich hab Matschi da gesehen, wie er da hochgeklettert ist. It is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom. You are too kind.
You can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There's much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it. Huh? What does she mean? She doesn't know. I too thought to call her a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What is that? Le Miroir suffers from amnesia.
Amnesia?
Le Miroir is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Why, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As lauded singer Le Miroir, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see.
Amnesia ist, was du hast nach zu vielen Bier und Jackie Cola. Vielleicht solltest du nicht so viel trinken. Sage ich und nehme den nächsten Schluck von meinem Bier.
I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear in this court, Le Miroir.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened. Le Miroir, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the white forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my. Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
What I saw. As for what I saw nothing. Gehe ja schon wieder gut los hier. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope it was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be. Oh, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Le Miroir wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. Instant Bullshit. Ich muss dich nicht mal pressen, weil Instant Bullshit. Die kann nicht sagen, I did not return backstage after the second set, wenn ihre scheiß Brosche da gefunden wurde. Nee. I'm sorry, Lamerois, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Lamerois. She was wearing it for a song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime. What? Lamerois, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night.
Yeah. What is the meaning of this? Lamerois, please explain.
Lamerois. She says English is quite difficult. That trick is not going to work here. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? Wieso kann er das überhaupt verstehen? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What is she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latose, can you hear me?
Cold, so cold, witness.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're going to be fine. I was in the way.
The witness is siren.
Siren? How can a siren witness anything? Yes, Emma? What was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No. I could have sworn I heard the door close. I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you. So this was when your brooch dropped. Aber lag die nicht mitten im Zimmer rum? Wie hat sie denn bitte schön in das Zimmer geguckt, dass ihre Brosche durch einen halben Raum fliegt? That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. But that's ridiculous. You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch? Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence.
So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. Her forehead shouting who's there, no doubt. A horrible voice indeed. I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
It's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lamerois, you did look into the room, though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses. When my performance was finished... Oh, guck mal da oben. I went backstage for just a moment. Gott, wo soll ich denn da jetzt hingucken? Ich höre mir das erstmal an. Just a moment, I saw nothing, but I was behind the wall. I was about to reach to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. It was where I learned that something bad had happened, but I wasn't told the details. Das hat sie ja vorhin, glaube ich, schon gesagt. Meine Güte. Oh, ich dachte, dass wir vielleicht ihre Finger hier unten angucken können, aber so weit kann man nicht runtergucken. Also das Passiv geht gerade mal bis hier. Das heißt dann ja aber ja, dass wir nicht auf ihre Hände gucken müssen. Da muss es ja irgendwas im Gesicht sein, oder? Was soll ich denn hier sehen? Man, das ist ja eigentlich nur ihr Gesicht. But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you. Mr. Latouche, how can I tell you what I don't know? Lameroy, he said you were a witness with his dying words. I do not know what he meant to say, but that night I was invited to sing a thing, yes I did. It was a great concert. You had me sing? Thank you. I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a course examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice.
Herr Judge.
What is this?
It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving.
What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy.
Apparently his grandson is a big fan, huh? Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lameroy. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance. I went backstage for just a moment. What did you see in that brief glimpse? I had only opened the door slightly when I heard that horrible voice.
And shut the door.
I have always wondered, Forehead, does that voice of yours lack a volume knob? It's my cords of steel, man. Just back off. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latouche's body was behind a wall. A wall? Was there a wall there? What in English? A division or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room divided into two halves, and the murder took place in the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body. Ja, aber... Ich wollte gerade sagen, woher wusste sie denn dann, dass es seine Leiche war? Aber sie sagt es jetzt wahrscheinlich rückblickend. Jetzt weiß sie ja, dass es seine Leiche war. Und in dem Moment... Aber wenn sie nichts gesehen hat, warum hat sie dann das Zimmer verlassen? Das ist ja doch irgendwie komisch, ne? Sie geht da rein und haut direkt wieder ab. Wobei, vielleicht weil Apollo so laut gerufen hat, könnte sie dann gegen argumentieren. Und sie nicht damit gerechnet hat, dass Detective und noch jemand da im Zimmer sind. With Machi, correct? How was he then? He seemed as he always does, though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latouche's death. Yet he is not the type to show much emotion. Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gone very far. We sat there waiting. Oh, es ist 11 Uhr. I was worried to learn that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details. Ich würde ja jetzt gerne zumindest noch den richtigen passiven Moment hier finden. How was the incident explained to you? I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Lucius died.
Of course, investigation requires some security.
Mr. Lucius was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. But Mochi and I were beside ourselves with concern. Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you. Yes, I understand. Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder? Gut, dann müssen wir nächste Woche rausfinden, was hier Sache ist. Aber ich weiß noch nicht wie.